Max Lindquist, how are you, sir? And thank you for coming on the race report for Pleasure Valley. Leon, thank you for coming on. I know that you did the pre-race for Max because he was off having dinner with a legend. And before we get into the race report, how did your dinner go? And how's Jeremiah?
Oh, great. So it was a good time. Good to catch up with those folks. I hadn't seen them in a while. So nice to go out and catch up with those guys and always learn a few things while we're at it. So appreciate Leon taking our pre-race report and getting some good conversations going. So glad to see that. And thank you, Leon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did great. He had a young man with him, Noah, and Noah's going to unseat both of you guys because in the beginning, he came out of the blocks on fire. I thought this dude, where did you find this kid? He's like ready to, take over the microphone and run with it. And he sputtered a little later on in the show, but it's okay. He's young,
I haven't got to watch it yet. I'll definitely have to go back now because he seems like quite the character. But glad to see we can get another racer on and talk some racing.
Well, I know Leon. We started out and it was starting to get dark, but we had enough light he showed us the view of the track and the scenery, and I'm thinking, wow, this place is beautiful. I'm hearing smoke and all this other stuff. And what happened, guys? Somebody just fill us all in on how it broke down and what happened to that beautiful racetrack. Max, you can start.
Only like a severe couple inches of rain in like 10 minutes would be my answer to that question, simply. We had a slight chance of like on and off showers all day. But I don't think any of us were aware that we were going to get absolutely torrential downpoured on, especially in the first Pro Moto when we all went up to the gates like it was going to be a normal race and made it about 10 minutes in, maybe not even quite that far, and you could hardly see what was in front of you because it was raining so hard.
I saw a video that Rastrelli posted, and I couldn't believe it.
Oh, man. Yeah. Like, it was the track, it had rained a little overnight, and a little earlier in the day, we had got some, like, morning showers during practice, early motos. So the track was a bit slick, but like we were all on our little tires. We did prepare, like, obviously I wore some extra tear offs and stuff. Like there was definitely some wet spots. So like at first it started raining and it was like more of a light sprinkle and it almost was like helping the vision, like getting some of that sticky heavy mud to like slide off the machine. And then everything just changed for the worse and the rain about started coming down sideways and we went from like very little vision to about no vision. And we all needed to stop for a minute and find our jet skis to continue would have been the best way of going about.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm really not laughing at you. I feel bad for all you guys because the amount of work that went into the preparation for Moto 2 had to have been every pit probably just was thrashing and going for it. That's just unbelievable. Honestly, when I saw the results of the first Moto, I thought there'd been qualifying and that was Moto 1 of the split. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think there was probably more motors swapped this weekend than any other weekend by far.
I think you're correct on that one.
Yeah, like the amount of work just to even clean the machines and get the water out of everything. Like they actually gave us 30-minute delay, which was probably super helpful for a lot of us because so many of us were still trying to get all our machines back running.
Mm-hmm. And that's unusual for the AMA to even give you a consideration like that.
Well, right. I think it was more with, correct me if I'm wrong, Leon, but we were on, after the pro race, we were on hold because of the lightning and stuff that was coming down. So, I mean, really, there were only a handful of races even before our pro race. Like they didn't start riding again until almost our 4:00 race, where it would have normally been, and we were pushed off till 4:30.
Yeah, I think you're right there. We didn't start racing until right before you guys went back out. So I think it was not to put any offense to any other riders, but I think they wanted to put some other classes out on the track to kind of have them clear some lap off before they sent the pros out again.
I can see that. I can see him doing that.
You know, kind of like what district races, if it's a dirt bike and quad national, like, oh, send the quads out to clear the mud off the track. It's kind of like
Right.
that
And you just happened to be one of those guys, didn't you?
every time. Actually, no, I was until the end of the day either way. So
you were after the pro race when you finally got to ride?
I was after the pro race. Yep.
Your bike
Yep.
was unrecognizable.
Yeah, no, it was, and 25 plus, it was only myself and one other guy, my buddy Ian Tolbert. We're the only two that showed up for the 25 plus race. And we both also had the 30 plus AB moto a couple races after that. So we both agreed on, let's do a one lap moto quick just to get it out of the way. And the picture I sent you, my quad looked the same after that one lap.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's freaking insane.
Yeah.
WMX. Kinsey, whole shot at both motos, ran away, clinched,
Yeah.
still perfect. Clinched her second WMX championship. The other young ladies, Holly and why can't I think of the other young lady's name? I feel so bad. I looked it up before we got going, and now I'm freezing up. But she's a whole shot at a couple motos. She ran 2 seconds, and Holly ran a third, and a fifth, I think, because Ellie
You're right,
Roush got
yeah.
in there. Ellie Roush was in there fighting for a podium spot, and unfortunately didn't get it pulled off this round. But the other young ladies rode really well. Got to take your hats off to Kinsey, because we asked Noah about Kinsey, and he said, yeah, she's fast. He didn't really want to race against her either. Where are you going, Leon?
I'm going inside of a truck right now just because outside noise is here interrupting.
Oh, I figured it was mosquitoes or bugs. Where are you at, Max? Usually you're in the motorhome.
I'm back home.
Really?
Yeah, I decided to come back home after this weekend for the week. My brother takes off for college to go play football here, so come home and see the family before he takes off this next weekend, and take a little break. So been on the road for quite a while, so decided to come home and hang out for a few days, and then head back out to Briarcliff
and get to see your brother, and that's awful nice of you. I mean, you guys got a pretty tight family, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good to come home and see everybody, and some of the buddies and stuff are home from school too that are in college, so it's nice to come home and get to catch up with people you don't see very often. So all around good to take a little time away from the racing for a little bit, especially after that crazy weekend, and we'll regroup and then go back at it here next week.
Did you have to swap motors as well? We lost Leon because of the connection, I guarantee it. Did you have to swap motors as well?
So I decided to leave mine in. I sucked water in. It was more just a time thing and just a dollar and signs thing. The machine still ran when I got back, and we flushed everything out and changed our fluids. And with Moto 2 being a mud moto, it was kind of like, well, might as well just make her run one more and cross your fingers, and kind of what she did. And it's definitely ready to come apart now. But I personally chose to leave mine in. There was a few others that left theirs in, but I think at least over half the pro class swapped engines, because there wasn't a one of us that didn't take on some kind of water.
Yeah, that's pretty rough that it went the way that it did for you guys. The pro sport class that ran, you're back.
I'm back. I have no idea what I did there.
That's okay. The pro sport guys, did they run 2 motos on Saturday?
Yes, they did. The first moto, the track was pretty decent. It wasn't terrible. Still a little wet, but a lot better conditions than the second moto. The second moto was a complete mud fest.
Yes.
Go ahead, Leon.
Well, first moto was earlier in the morning. It was moto 11, I believe it was. So we got to get out there and get on the track before chaos happened. It was actually 20 riders. So they split it up into 2 heats. It's kind of been the normal thing all year. They sent out the 2 heats. They had a LCQ, which was moto 19. And that was after the Pro Moto. So that was LCQ was during it became a 1 lap LCQ. Because I guess that was the other thing after they decided what was going on, pushed the pros back. They also docked a lap off of every moto for the amateurs. So Pro Sport only did a 5-lap race instead of a 6. A classes 25 plus. They did 4 instead of 5, and then all the other amateur classes did 3 instead of 4. So wow. We kind of got on an easy street, especially with how the rest of the weekend went. Pro Sport first moto was very easy for us. Second moto not so much. So
the mud really affected Jayden more.
Not so much for Jayden. He usually does pretty well in the mud. Actually, it's a conversation we've had before. Actually, Max has been part of this conversation before. It seems like some of us Midwesterners do a little bit better in the mud. Because a lot of us, especially like riders from Minnesota, Wisconsin, where we get a good amount of snow, we always tend to kind of go out and have some fun in the snow at some point. So JJ did pretty well.
The muck doesn't affect you near as much, right? Is what you're saying?
What's that?
The muck doesn't affect you guys as much as it does everybody else.
Well, I'm just used to taking it from me, so I do somehow.
You broke up there a little bit, bud.
I said we're just used to doing it with everybody else, so we just have to
pull the truck closer to the house.
Wonder.
So we're going to get into the second moto of the pros here shortly, but the Pro-Ams only ran 1 moto and they canceled the second. Is that what I got out of that?
No, so Pro-Am is the Sunday only and Pro Sport Saturday only. So Pro-Am never even ran. They didn't race this past weekend.
How do they do points, or they got no points?
So no one got awarded any points yet. I don't know if they will. I don't know. I haven't heard the official ruling on how they're going to do that yet. If they're just going to take it as Pro-Am only does 1 less round than everyone. If they do a makeup race, I'm not sure how they're going to score that, but I know no one got scored any points this weekend in Pro-Am.
Yep. As of now, there is no what's going on. From what we were told from Harv on Sunday is that they're going to figure out what we will do at some point.
So they'll just announce we're going to do this on this day or at this event, and this is what you got to deal with, and too bad, so sad.
Pretty much.
Basically, yeah.
You're along for the ride.
I get it, but I don't get it. Those guys work so hard. They deserve something, whether they go double points the next round, something like that. I mean, I don't even,
Well,
it's justifiable to go double points next round.
Honestly, I think they'll probably just go one less round than everyone else. Will probably
it's quite
be
possible.
how they'll do it.
Max, what was that 2020 when you went Pro-Am that they ended up doing it was like a double header for the pros?
Yes, that is
Right.
correct.
That's what I thought. So yeah, because that was in Texas. They ended up doing Pro Motos on Saturday and Pro Motos on Sunday to make up for that last round. However, I don't think they'd be able to do something like that for Pro-Am because at least 80 or 90% of the Pro-Am riders are in pro sport as well. So I'm not sure what could be done with that.
Double points.
You just have to, each moto's worth an overall, basically. Yeah. You would award points for each moto.
Yeah. I guess that'd be the only thing you could really do.
Single
The
motor.
only thing that's gonna mess with that again is Pro-Am is another class that usually has over 20 riders. So you've got heats for your first moto.
You just take your top 20 and put them on the gate and put the people that are behind in points behind it and run it.
I think that's how it should be, because there's been a couple times, we've had qualifying for Pro-Am. What's the point of qualifying if you're going to take all 23, 24 riders anyways? You have qualifying. Okay, the top 20 riders go from qualifying to the motos. Your 3, 4, however many guys that didn't qualify, sorry, but that's your day. You didn't qualify for the races.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is, right?
That's how it should be.
And if they're going to do a points deal like that, as you sign up, the top 20 guys in points, if they're all there, they get the first 20 spots. Anybody after that, they tell them, hey, this is what's happening. You're not going to be able to race this time. We're only taking the 20 entries.
Right.
All top 20 in points entered. End of story. If they don't have 20, then they take as they come. So if they have 18 guys, there's 2 spots. If there's 3 guys that enter, the third guy to enter, he's out. Sorry.
Right. I
mean, it's simple. Yeah. Well, we're common sense thinking. That's bad.
It's not that common anymore, Leonard.
Wow, that was a little rough, Leon.
Face the facts at some point.
Max, did you think that was aggressive? I thought that was a little aggressive out of Leon there. He's not even coming.
I'm just gonna leave that one alone. So
the truth hurts, doesn't it, boys?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's too funny. Well, since we've solved that problem, maybe you could have the AMA watch this or have Harv watch this, and then he could, follow our lead.
Yeah, I'll put that.
Her. So. Just send him an email with the link.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Hey, we've solved we've solved your Pro-Am problem. Just watch the show.
Right. Right.
You may get banned when you come back, right, Leon?
Right. Yeah. Just don't come back.
Dock some. Know why?
What was that, Max?
Seriously, get docked some points in pro. I'll know why. So.
Oops.
No, it'll just all of my points are gonna disappear overnight. You guys will be fine.
Your name's gone. Your points are gone.
Yeah.
That race.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that'd be too funny. So let's talk second moto pros. And did you get to watch this one, Leon?
I did. I unfortunately I missed the start of it because I was working on cleaning up a little bit of mud, but I was there for, I think I missed the first 3 laps, essentially.
So Joel gets tied up in the first turn.
No, he got tied up and there was.
That was the first moto.
No, second moto. It was the first lap, but it was actually one of the last corners of the track. It's the big off camber that this track is, and I'd say that the track's kind of known for. He took the high line, got hung up, and that kind of bit him in the butt for a while.
Yeah, it wasn't even the first lap. It was like 2 or 3 laps in, actually.
Oh, was it in a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, me and him were fourth and fifth, and he had actually just pulled up inside of me in the turn before, and then went to go up around the outside to try and get around me and Rastrelli, and parked it on top of a berm. So that was about on the second or third lap of the first moto, and just came hot, front end pushed a little bit in the water, and he kind of sat there for a while. Unfortunately, I think he had to get off
for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up 12th for that moto.
Yeah. By the sounds of it, it took him quite a while to get unstuck. He did a good job, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, you stick that thing in the mud, and then you take a guy that's, no offense, Joel's not a huge man.
Right.
And you have to get that quad out of the mud, and it's 400 pounds plus the mud, plus your riding gear, plus, not have the leverage and the footing. It's amazing that he even got it out at all.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've seen races where people stick it in the mud and that's it. It's amazing how much a quad will suction itself into the mud.
Right.
You think anyone that's looking at it, oh, just pull it out or push it out. You have no idea what this is going to take to get out.
Yeah, I've had them where they hook the tractor onto him to pull him out, and it breaks the bumper off of the machine because it's so stuck,
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they have to hook it through the frame, and you're just like shaking your head, like, really? It
right.
Taking this much force to get it out?
Yeah.
So Max, you got a good start.
About time.
It's all on you, brother. It's all on you.
It is.
You got a good start. You got to run with the front pack. How did that feel for you? I know this isn't the Max Lindquist show. This is a race report, but how did that feel to run up there with those guys?
Oh, it was great. It's what we've been trying to do all year. Just really been terrible at it all year. So felt good to get back to where I always strive to be, and hopefully we'll just keep building from there. Definitely wasn't the conditions I'd have loved to have done it in, but was happy to at least end the day that way and get myself back into the top 5 in a moto.
Yeah.
Was there vision issues in Moto 2?
Oh, yeah.
And was the track still really, really bad?
The track was brutal. It started raining again mid-moto, and then it was kind of on and off. But they added a lot of mulch to this track, and it made, like, prior to the track being wet, a great race soil. The track was a lot better with the mulch.
Mm-hmm.
And that mulch on the track, that roost is probably some of the worst roosts I've ever ate. Like, that stuff stuck to you so bad, and it would like to get in between your tear offs and stuff. Like, I don't know if there was many of us that finished that race with our goggles on. Like, if you were anywhere behind someone, that was all you were tasting for quite a while was some mulch.
Yeah, I don't think many people had goggles. Because you didn't, correct?
No, I made it maybe halfway or so and had to lose mine. I think that's about where everyone was at, is you just got so far into where you started getting water and muck in between your tear offs, and you were pretty much just done over with.
Right.
You okay, Pops? Yeah, we're just taping a show. My Pops is watching.
You should sit down. Join on in.
Just a few. They said you could join in if you want.
Grab a chair.
I don't think about it. He didn't watch the race or know about all the mud and everything. So
he knows enough about racing. He's been around it.
That's true. I think
he'll just
you get him talking about those old race stories, and you actually learn things because they raced differently back then in the Iron Horse days when machines weighed 600 pounds and made 29 horsepower.
Right.
Sorry, Max, I didn't mean to interrupt that. When you were behind Rastrelli, was there any way to pass in your opinion?
If you were really willing to push the issue, we were really like confined to almost one line, just with how like sloppy and slippery the edges of the track were. So like if you were going to do it, you had to make fast work. And if the guy was similar in speed to you, like it was really hard. You were almost like waiting on a mistake. Like how I rode behind Jeffery was you kind of gave him that little bit of room to where you could see and not eat the roost. And if he was going to put it on a berm or make a mistake, you were there. But I feel like it was more of you were like just trying to have the presence of the pressure to be there and hope for a mistake. Otherwise, you kind of had to force the mistake to where you were willing to, tap a guy in the rear end and try and like move someone a little bit coming into a turn or get a really good run down a hill or something. But there just wasn't a lot going on. I mean, at the end of the moto, like Nick Janusa was on fire, and he was catching me. He had a good pace going, and like he got behind me with 2 laps left, and like he was there the whole time, and I pretty much just kept riding my lines, and he tried to throw it in one inside, and like hats off to him. He went for it, and unfortunately, like he just didn't get the drive out of the turn with it being so slippery. Like by the time he hit me and then tried to take back off, I think that was kind of how it went for a lot of guys. Like pretty much wherever you started was where you finished, because it was super hard to like get that slingshot effect around somebody when there was just no traction out there.
So if you'd got really aggressive with Rastrelli, you would have either taken you both out or yourself out.
Pretty much, that was the odds. They weren't in your favor. So it seemed like if you tried to push the issue, like Joel was trying to make a move on me and Rastrelli, and it just seemed like as soon as you tried to get out of that main line, make something happen, it kind of resulted in a mistake. Like you kind of noticed everyone seemed to push pretty hard the first couple laps, and then from there, everyone was just kind of hitting their marks, it seemed like, and just trying to not force an issue.
Is that kind of the way you felt it went down, Leon?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, the biggest thing too that definitely the pros had to deal with the mud was, on Friday in practice, we had a lot of there was multiple lines in this track where usually it gets pretty one lined, and the fast line, there's multiple lines, but there's one fast line. Where Friday there was a bunch of different lines, and I feel like a good amount of them would actually work for you. Well, once obviously Pro Moto started, the pros ruined it for us. They brought in the rain, so thanks, Max. But once the rain hit and everything turned to muck, everything became one line. Even in the amateur motos, mine included, 1 or 2 people would get out of the line. Next thing you know, you got a train of stuck riders. So then you're trying to quick hop the berm and get somewhere else so you don't end up in it as well. So I mean, it made passing pretty hard. And I could definitely see for the pros where, you've got the one line, but there's a lot more battles going on out there. It's going to make getting around somebody that much harder, especially when that guy's really good at holding their line. And if they need to, they're going to keep you behind them.
That's pretty amazing stuff right there. So we have to bring this up. Mr. Consistent, the only guy that could have a bad moto and a good moto and still come out with that lucky number 7.
Jesus. Yeah, it's
dude, I just think that you should, go to Vegas and bet on 7, and I think you're going to win.
The odds are in my favor at this point in time. It really worked out for me.
Yeah, I mean, you ought to just ask everybody, before you start, hey, can I just have 7th for the day? Just make it easier on everybody.
I mean, I feel like had to ask. It just kind of happens. It's a known thing lately.
Yeah.
Like to work on that.
I
Well,
think you chose the wrong number. You took the wrong pro's number.
They should have chose number 7.
Yeah, you should have been talking to Joe.
I like the payday on that number 2 better than the 7, to be honest. So we
Wait, you get paid?
not really.
You're not supposed to tell anybody.
Oh, I
but
saw that check he picked up.
the one that bounced, or the one that actually paid him.
Oh, both.
No, Max, in all seriousness, that was quite a wide swing and a way to get to the 7 that you did. You were lucky to run the 4 spot in the second moto with a good start. All you guys, even the as you went down the line, the mix up in finishes and positions where, Molander was 6 in the first, and then he was in the back in the second, and everybody was just all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I was
gonna 5.
I'd like to bring up like Kevin Sarr got on the podium. Congrats to him. That's a huge accomplishment coming over here. And like, I think his scores were like 8-6, like just totally would have never guessed it. But, like one of those days where like the mud's the great equalizer, like just was wide open to anyone. I mean, for Joel to go like 2-12 for 6, like there's, like you said, there's just a lot of guys that, took advantage of the bad conditions, and a lot of us that also kind of threw some, threw a day away. So definitely quite a change up in our normal running order.
Yeah.
Let's take our hats off to Kevin. The guy goes over and races against the fastest guys in Europe and does really well, wins. He's one of the fastest guys from over there, and comes back over here 2 races after he dominated in Europe and put himself on the podium. Doesn't matter weather, doesn't matter all of this stuff. Results are results. I mean, you agree, right?
Yep. I'd have loved it. I couldn't do it. So hats off.
Yeah. I mean, the guy rides really hard and tries really hard and did a great job out there. So hats off to
He's
everybody.
definitely an animal.
He loves riding ATVs just like you guys do. Last thing before I let you guys go for the night, 2024, the production rule. It just came out in that's what they're going to do for the Pro-Am class. Real quick, Max, what are your thoughts?
Doesn't really affect me much. I don't think it's a good or a bad thing. I like the fact that you're helping support a Yamaha manufacturer. I think it helps kids get ready. Like, this ensures anyone that's going to the pro class has already done it for a year, been on that machine. So I think that's a good help. Other than that, I don't think it changes too many things.
Leon, let's hear your opinion.
Well, as far as somebody that can see it both ways, I agree with it. It is Yamaha is supplying us with machines still. Nobody else is. And the biggest fight for this hybrid thing is so people can put CRFs and TRX chassis. We know for a few years now that Honda does not give 2 craps about us in the sport ATV world.
Easy. Wow. Why would you be so harsh?
They can't even make cylinders that are quality controlled good enough for us anymore. So we'll leave it at that. But Yamaha, they are supporting us. Why would we? And it's the same thing with in us making a hybrid rule in the pro class. If they are feeding us, why would we take a crap in that food bowl?
I agree. They're still paying some of the pro riders They're still giving some machines away in the pro class and in some other classes. I think that anything that's pro should be production. I don't believe that like pro sport should be production as well.
I'm also gonna go out on a limb here and say that I believe that WMX should be a production class, since
So do
that is our pro women's class. They should follow the same rules as our pro class.
Yes, I agree.
So, and if you've got, I've seen all the keyboard warriors out there and everybody this rule allegedly messes up their plan for next year, blah, 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 blah. They put this rule in effect. This was something they said that they were going to review and make a decision on for next year to begin with. They gave you the courtesy to make that decision and post it now instead of a few months from now. So anybody that is trying to get their program together, you now have more time. You might not be able to run your hybrid next year and you had all your eggs in that basket. But the other thing that I see on this is we started out last year, Pro Sport, Pro Am, there's a lot of hybrids. As of right now, I believe there are 2 riders in the Pro Am class on hybrids. Out of a 20+ rider field, you've got 2 guys on hybrids.
Kind of answers the question right there.
Exactly.
Max, let's bring this into the conversation as well. The stock class. If you're going to go with a production rule in the Pro-Am class, then I think they need to bring the Pro Sport class back and allow those kids that are racing production machines in the Pro-Am to race against the pro guys on stock machines like you got to do before you became a pro.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an advocate for that and would love to see it happen. So hopefully that comes back in the future. I think it's definitely a good step in the right direction towards it. And we'll just kind of have to see what happens.
Yep.
I agree. And like it says in the rules, there's no year on the components that you can use. As long as it's 450R component, it's a 450R component. 09 to 23 doesn't matter. Don't care. If the cam's different in 09, it still came out of a 450R. It's the same part, or it's not the same part, but it's still an OEM part. So run it, and who cares? It doesn't say you can't swap year componentry. So
yeah, no, I mean, I think there is definitely some things we could clarify in that class, and you could do. But overall, I just think the idea of the class and the potential of it is definitely something that would be a good thing to bring back to the races. I felt like that really helped me, and I think it could really help a lot of other up and coming riders get that experience of riding with your top pro guys. That's definitely something that takes a little while to get used to.
Do you think that you being a third-year pro, it would help you now if you had that class to race?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think especially with the year I've had, I just think it really tightens the group up and allows you to continue learning, and really makes you focus on the little things that you don't necessarily focus maybe as much on the race machine. It really comes down to the driver and a lot of little technique things that you can easily forget about. And I think it's never a bad thing to get back on that stock machine and do some riding. And I think it can really bring some good racing to the scene. That class was probably closer in speed than any other class we watched race all weekend.
I think that not having a pro stock class is almost an insult to Yamaha. And I think they bring it back. It also develops your pro-am riders into professionals because they get to ride the pros. Here's my one catch. How do you get more of the pros to commit to racing it?
Yeah, I mean, I like to, it keeps us at the track, gives the guys a reason to stay Sunday and hang out all day, which just keeps you in front of, your spectators and fans and stuff. Like, it's always good to stay, be at the races with the ATV community. And I think that's definitely something that, like, whether that's something that there's a little extra incentive put out there for it. I don't know what necessarily have all the answers on that. But I think it's definitely something that would grow if you put it there, especially with everyone going to Yamaha. I mean, it's such a cheap class. Like, that's what I loved about it was I bought a used stock machine from a farmer for $5,200 and put some Nerf bars on it and raced it. Like, that was really cheap riding, which at this point in time is always a good thing and a good option for a lot of people, because we all know how expensive this sport is to do.
What was the payout to win that class? Do you remember?
See, that was the kick, was it was only about the same as Pro-Am, which was like $150. So it wasn't anywhere near our AMA Pro class. And I think that's why a lot of guys, like, there really wasn't necessarily a huge incentive for racing it. Now, whether that be something that, like, Yamaha would be willing to, like, I think our first year we did it, Yamaha had a championship bonus and some stuff like that, which is really cool and appreciative of them. And maybe that'd be something that if you did bring it back, you would see some more financial help in that class.
That would be the best right there. Get the purse up and give them a championship 1, 2, 3 money or something like that. So to get $1,000 or something. They got to do something. They got to help. If we're going to put all these eggs in Yamaha's basket, they're going to have to give something back, because they're selling everything they build plus. And hats off to Yamaha for building a great machine, and let's thumbs down to everybody else that's not making a new machine.
For sure.
I'm not going to be mean like Leon and really throw him under the bus, but it's not Leon's day to day, is it? He's dark. You can't even see his face now.
Yeah, it's getting late here in Ohio. It's almost 9:30, so I'm losing my sunlight.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on Pleasure Valley Race Report with me. Max, as always, I know normally you're the guy, and Leon, you're a great stand-in, and you always help bring another dimension to the conversation. I know we tease you a little bit, but we really appreciate all you do and your insights. You're an advocate that we really need, and so keep doing what you're doing. Okay, Leon?
Absolutely. Someone's got to say what we're all thinking, right?
I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to give you that one.